You ever get that feeling that you're just meant for more? Well, for over 20 years, the author Napoleon Hill set out to decode exactly that. After being challenged by the famous industrialist Andrew Carnegie, Hill studied the most successful people of his time to figure out what separated them from everyone else. And what he discovered wasn't just a bunch of tips, it was a complete philosophy, a blueprint for achievement. So let's unroll this blueprint and see how it works, starting with the number one reason people fail.
98%. Just look at that number. Let it sink in for a second. It's kind of staggering, right? But what does it even mean?
That's right. According to Hill, a whopping 98 out of every 100 people are just drifting through life, aimlessly, with no real clear idea of what they want or where they're even going. It's a tough question for sure, but you got to ask it. Are you at the helm of your life, or are you just a passenger?
Now, the good news is, Hill didn't just point out the problem and leave it at that. No, he offered a powerful solution. He built a step-by-step system, a set of principles that, if you apply them, can completely change the direction of your life.
And it all starts right here. You know, just like you can't build a house without a blueprint, you can't go on a journey without a destination. For Hill, having that definite purpose is the absolute non-negotiable starting point for everything else. Pay attention to that word, magnetizes. This is so key. Hill wasn't just talking about, having a goal. He believed that a truly definite purpose literally acts like a magnet for your mind. It forces you to notice opportunities you would have missed otherwise, and it starts pulling the people and the resources you need right to you.
So how do you actually build this purpose? Hill laid out this super practical 4-step formula. Yeah, you've got to write it down and make a plan. But step 3, this is the real secret sauce. You have to define exactly what you will give in return. See, it's not a wish, it's a transaction. And then the final step, you have to make it an obsession. It's got to be the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing you think about before you go to sleep.
Okay, so if a definite purpose is your destination, then your mind is the engine that's going to get you there. But here's the thing, you have to be the one in the driver's seat. Your internal world, what you think about, directly creates your external results.
Hill used this incredible metaphor for this. He said we're all born with 2 sealed envelopes. If you have a positive, controlled mind, you get to open the rewards envelope. Inside, you'll find things like good health, peace of mind, financial freedom, great friendships. But if you have a negative, drifting mind, you open the penalties envelope, and that leads to poverty, fear, a wasted life, and a lot of enemies. The choice is yours, every single day. So, which envelope are you opening?
Now, Hill's idea of faith is super practical. It's not about passive belief. It's an active process. It's about quieting your own loud ego and all your doubts so you can tune in to what he called infinite intelligence, this kind of universal source of amazing ideas, plans, and solutions. Think of it as the ultimate brainstorming partner.
And this is how you keep that engine running smoothly. It's not about being a cold, logical robot. It's about getting your heart and your head to work together in harmony. Your heart gives you the passion, the drive, the why. Your head provides the logic and the strategy, the how. And self-discipline, that's the conductor making sure they play a beautiful song together.
A perfect plan and a powerful mindset are totally worthless if they're just sitting in the garage, right? You need fuel to get going. And that fuel is action, especially when things get tough.
This might be one of the most powerful ideas in his entire philosophy. It completely reframes how you look at failure. Hill argues that every single setback, every temporary defeat, isn't just a roadblock, it's actually a gift. Hidden inside that painful moment is a seed, an opportunity, a lesson, a new direction, and that seed holds a benefit that's equal to or even greater than the pain of the setback itself.
Just look at the true story of Milo C. Jones. He was a farmer, just getting by. Then, tragedy. He was struck by paralysis. A total, devastating defeat, right? But because he was confined to his bed, unable to use his body, he was forced to use his mind. And that's when he found the seed. This brilliant idea for a unique brand of little pig sausage. His family helped him execute the plan, and he became a multi-millionaire from the very same farm that had barely supported him before. His greatest adversity held the seed of his greatest success.
So how do you make sure your actions actually get you what you want? Hill came up with this simple formula. Your compensation, and he meant in life, not just money, comes from the quality of your service plus the quantity of your service. But the MA, your mental attitude, that's the real game changer. It's a multiplier. A positive, helpful attitude doesn't just add to your value, it amplifies everything you do.
Let's be real. Nobody achieves great success all by themselves. Individual effort is awesome, but when you combine it with the minds of other people, the results aren't just added together, they are multiplied.
This is Hill's famous mastermind principle. And it's way more than just teamwork. He believed that when two or more minds come together in a spirit of perfect harmony, a third, invisible mind is created. It's this synergistic force that can solve problems and spark ideas that no single person could have ever come up with on their own.
But there's a catch. That third mind only shows up if the group is built on perfect harmony. And that's not just about being polite. It needs a solid foundation of real confidence, deep understanding, fairness, and justice among everyone in the group. Without that, it's not a mastermind. It's just another meeting.
Take Edwin C. Barnes, for example. He was one of Thomas Edison's top guys. He noticed his salesmen who were selling dictating machines were calling on the exact same offices as the salesmen selling typewriters. So he formed a mastermind alliance to do something simple: exchange leads. It cost them nothing, but that simple act of cooperation blew up the success for everyone involved.
Okay, so you have a purpose, you've mastered your mind, you're taking action, and you're working with others. How do you make all of this permanent? How do you lock it in so it becomes second nature? Well, Hill identified one final master law that pulls it all together.
He called it the cosmic habit force. Basically, it's the universal law of nature that turns our repeated thoughts and actions into automatic habits. And here's the crucial part. This law is totally impartial. It doesn't care if your habits are good for you or bad for you. It will lock in poverty and failure just as easily as it will lock in wealth and success. It just reinforces whatever you feed it over and over again.
The best way to think about it is like a great river with two powerful currents. If you keep focusing on fear, doubt, and indecision, you drift into the negative stream. And that cosmic habit force will just carry you effortlessly towards failure. But if you deliberately choose to focus on your purpose, on faith, on taking action, you step into the positive stream. And that very same universal law will carry you towards success.
So in the end, after all the principles and stories, Hill's entire philosophy really isn't that complex. It all boils down to a single, simple choice that you make with every single thought. You're either drifting into one current or you're intentionally stepping into the other. That's it. So the only question is, which stream are you going to enter today?